Good evening, everyone. If you give me one moment, I want to stop the transcription. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tanya Cobb, and I am the District Lead Counselor for Rockdale County Public Schools. And we welcome you to Rising Ninth Grade Night, our district-wide Rising Ninth Grade Night. We are excited that you are here with us this evening, and we thank you for joining us for such a special night for your students. I know some of you are in shock, like, how did we get here so soon? We are, there we are. How did you get here so soon? You have babies that are about to finish the eighth grade. And so this is part of the beginning of that journey is this transition from middle school to high school. And it is an exciting transition. And so we hope the information that we share with you this evening will assist you in that journey from middle school to high school as your students are about to begin to select some of their high school elective courses. And you will have an opportunity as parents to look at their final course selections that are being made for them. And we're going to talk to you about that. But there's so much that goes along with that transition. So we want to say greetings. I want to introduce some of the school counselors that are on the call this evening. We have more than school counselors on the call because there's an entire team ready to provide information um, to you this tonight. But from Rockdale County High School, if you all would turn on your cameras, um, so you can introduce yourselves as well, so parents can see you. So from Rockdale County High School, we have two of our counselors on. We have Miss Kalisha Sabri, who's our ninth grade counselor. Miss Sabri, wave to the
Good
people.
evening.
And then we
Good
also have
evening.
Miss Joelle Jackson joining us.
Hey
And
guys.
from Heritage High School, we have Miss Candace Martin.
Good evening, everyone.
And from Salem High School, we have Miss Amber Hightower.
Hi, everybody.
Um, I am Miss Cobb. I work at the county office. And then Miss Bird is also from the county office, and she is our district lead registrar. And so we'll explain some of the academic pieces to you. But also joining us this evening, we have Mr. Blaine Allen, who is over food services. So he'll join us and talk to us a little bit about the lunch program. Mr. Allen.
Good evening.
And then we have Dr. Ming, who is on. Dr. Ming is on our, Dr. Ming is over our fine arts department. Dr. Ming, if you can come on camera for a moment. And she is, again, over our fine arts department. We also have Dr. Rouse, who is our over our athletic department. And then from learning support, we have Miss Tracy Thomas.
Good evening, everyone.
And so we will all have small pieces to share with you this evening. And so our plans tonight are to share with you our county diploma graduation requirements. We're going to discuss high school electives and how to select them if you have not done so already. We're going to explain the course request for the 25-26 school year. We're going to acquaint you with Infinite Campus and talk about other communication tools that the district uses and familiarize you and your student with key elements as they prepare for the high school transition. And at the end, answer a few questions. So one question I do want to answer is we're going to talk about the three traditional high schools. So that's going to be Heritage, Salem, and Rockdale County High School. If your student is going to attend Magnet, Magnet has a separate orientation and a separate piece on electives. And we do have the date that they're going to do that, and we're going to share that at the end. You would benefit from this session learning about the fine arts, learning about the lunch program, as well as learning support that the district has. You are welcome to stay on this session. However, and as well about the transition to from middle school to high school. All of that piece is going to be the same. However, the elective piece um, and the academic piece is a little different for Rockdale Magnet. So it is up to you. All right. But Magnet has their own piece for electives and as they talk about the graduation requirements. All of the general information we're going to share is relevant to all children. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Martin as she shares her slides. Okay, Ms. Martin.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Miss Martin. I'm one of the counselors here at Heritage High School. Yay! Are we so excited that we are going to ninth grade or our babies are coming to high school? We are excited. I know you can be, the parents and the students are a little stressed, but it's okay. We take good care of you guys, and it's just part of life. We got to grow up and mature. So you made it to high school. What now? I know you're feeling stressed. You might be excited. You might be anxious. You might not, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to have any friends. How do you feel? Think about how you feel and what to do now. High school is basically, I would say, how I say it, is the start of your future. For high school, you're really focusing on, we're starting at the beginning, and then what do we plan to do after we graduate? Am I able to click the slides or? There we go. Okay, so when you come to high school, you want to make friends. I mean, yes, when you come to high school, you want to make friends. So of course, some of your friends that are going to come with you from middle school, so you have those people that are familiar for you. But for the most part, you have different students coming from different places, so it will be new people. So you want to introduce yourself. I know some students might be a little shy, but like challenge yourself to say, "Hi, my name is Candace. What's your name?" And just find things that you guys like or what you might have in common. Usually that's the best way to make new friends. You find those interests. So somebody might like a type of music, or somebody might like baking, or like once they get into their elective classes, usually the elective classes are classes that the students are choosing. So those are things that they're interested in. Those people in those classes can be part of their new friendships that they're making. When they're having those conversations, they want to have conversations and really get to know the person so that they can have that person. If they don't have any friends coming from middle school, they have those people that they start to get familiar with, because high school is the building itself is a whole lot bigger than their middle school. The expectations are different. It's new teachers, new admin. It's just new everything. So if they have those familiar people, that's great. But then as they come, they can make friends, and it might not happen right away. They might feel isolated or they might feel lonely, but just know that it will happen. They will find that one or two people that they just automatically click with, or they have something in common with, and then it just works. Also, we highly recommend the I don't see the presentation. Anyway, we highly recommend that they join clubs and organizations and extracurricular activities. Not only does that help them with building their high school resume for college and for what they plan to do after college, but that helps them find another outlet on how to make friends. Like if you're joining the track team, obviously we have something in interest. We like to run. So that's something that we can kind of make in common. And joining those clubs, organizations, extracurricular activities, those sports teams help you find a new talent that you didn't know that you enjoyed. So you're like, oh, I want to join the art club. I don't do art. And then you realize that you are like Picasso, so it is good for you to join those clubs, join those organizations, just jump out and take that risk and see what happens, because you might end up liking it and just meeting new people throughout your high school career. You guys see the PowerPoint?
We lost Miss Cobb. She's trying to get back in.
Okay.
That's what happened.
I was like, good thing I took notes, because I'm just going. I was like,
Yes.
okay. Okay. All right. So the next, should we wait for her? I should wait. Ms.
I would
Bird, should
say-
I wait for her?
I would say keep going.
Keep going. All right.
Mhm.
So the next slide is the big differences as you move into high school. Like I said, it's a totally different building. You're just like, what am I walking into? You're a freshman. You know, depending on your size, you might see a senior walk by and you're like, whoa, you know, so it might be just a scary feeling for you. But once again, it is okay. I will say that as much as I want to say it is okay. People are there. It is fine. Everybody has gone through this process and you'll be fine. But just know that high school, the expectation is that you're learning your independence. Obviously, when you first come, it's going to be a learning curve where it's like, okay, am I supposed to ask the teacher for my assignment, or how do I go to the bathroom? Should I raise my hand? Whatever the case may be. So you might have those questions, but we are teaching you how to be a little bit more independent, because high school is really from the start, from ninth grade going into 12th grade, high school is really just teaching you how to become that young adult, so that whatever you plan to do after you graduate, whether it's go to college, whether it's go to a tech school or go to work, you are prepared for that adulthood after high school. So you're just more independent, which that will come with time. You're going to advocate for yourself more. That's one thing that I tell my students all the time. Speak up for yourself. If a teacher needs to, if you're missing an assignment from a teacher, or a teacher didn't put in a grade, go and ask Miss Martin. I noticed that I completed my assignment and the grade isn't put in. Will you put in the grade, or is there anything I need to do? So advocate for yourself. And even if you don't feel comfortable doing that, I know at least with the counselors here, we walk you through those steps. So I'll hold your hand a little bit, but eventually you're going to get to the point where you can do that for yourself and just speak up for yourself, and of course in a respectful way, but just speak up for yourself on the things that you need or want, or whatever the case may be. I always tell my students, ask for what you want. The worst somebody's going to tell you no. And if they say no, you say, okay, thank you, and either find another solution or whatever the case may be. And then there's more expected from you in high school. Because like I said, once again, high school is preparing you for that future of being the best adult that you can be. So the expectations are going to be a little bit, the expectation is more. And really, there is a little break because you're in high school, but the expectation is like, okay, you're in high school, let's go. But don't feel nervous if it's just kind of like, okay, this is a lot, this is a lot. Just know that it will, everything that you learn, whether it's the independence, whether it's speaking up for yourself, or the expectations from your teachers or the admin or your counselor, just know that it will come with time and you will be just fine. Everything will be fine. The next slide is making the transition. So this is a slide where you have to pay attention to the beginning, begin with the end in mind. So whatever you start in your freshman year, in your grades, in your classes, those things are going to follow, or those grades, whether they're A's or whether they're C's or B's or D's, they're going to follow you through high school. And you just have to remember that if you're planning to go to a college or university, your transcript, whatever grades you get in ninth grade and whatever grades you get in 12th grade or 10th grade, those are permanent records on your transcript. So you want to make sure that you're doing the best that you can at the beginning of your high school career, so that once you go through high school and you get to your 12th grade, you're not having to worry about making up classes from ninth grade, or worrying about, okay, what's my GPA? Am I going to get into this college? Or, you know, just having those worries. If you start with excellence at the beginning, you should end with excellence. And sometimes we mess up, and that's okay. But as long as you kind of catch yourself, sometimes you fall off that train, but as long as you get back on and just push yourself to get it done, you can get it done. But just always remember, how you start high school is going to follow you all the way, especially with your academics. It is going to follow you all the way to your senior year. And basically that will be a representation. Your transcript is your high school profile. So that's a representation of your academics in high school when you are trying to apply for college. Make sure that you're completing your assignments on time. I explain to my students all the time, listen, every teacher has their different rules. Some teacher might take late work. Some teacher might be like, nope, you can only turn it in today. Some teachers might whatever the case may be. So just make sure that you learn your teachers and learn the expectations in those classes so that you know, all right, Miss Martin will accept my assignment a day late, but Miss Bird says turn it in today. So just learn your teachers and learn the expectations so that you are on track to graduate academically. Credits count. So when you once you go from grade level to grade level, you have to have a certain amount of credits. So to go from 9th grade to 10th grade, you need to have five credits. To go from 10th grade to 11th grade, you need to have, I forgot. Hold on. My handy dandy 11 credits.
11.
And to go from 11th grade to 12th grade, you need to have 16 credits. Yes, you need 24 credits to graduate. However, I tell the students, yes, look at your credits because you might have the 24 credits, but you're still missing some of the required credits. So yes, look at credits once you go from grade level to grade level so you know what grade you're classified in, but you also have to make sure you're taking your required classes. Once you get to your senior year, you might be like, Miss, I have my 24 credits. Yes, you do, and that is great, but you're still missing specific required credits. So look at the credits you need and as well as the required classes and credits you need to graduate. And then once again, 9th grade is your foundation. Please, please, please take it serious. Yes, have a good time in high school, but your academics are very important.
Thank you, Miss Martin. We're going to take just a quick break, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yes,
we
ma'am.
apologize, everyone. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty. I'm going to stop the recording for just a second, just a minute, and let's see if we can get Miss Cobb back online. We definitely don't want you to miss out on seeing everything on the PowerPoint. So I'm going to stop the recording for just a couple of minutes. We thank you all for being patient with us.
I'm back in.
Back in. Okay.
Actually, can we go back to the making transition slide one more time?
Yes,
There was something
ma'am.
else I wanted to add in there. With the making transition and completing assignments and thinking about credits and thinking about the end in mind, the end ideally is we're going through high school to apply for college. So students want to also think about high school and rigor classes. So we want to think about taking those AP classes. And then once we become 11th graders, thinking about taking those dual enrollment classes, because not only, number one, that will help your GPA and college acceptance, but also if you do dual enrollment is free college. So that will assist you with starting your college career before you get there and able to take these classes for free. So you want to think about, what do I plan to do? And that's one thing that we always ask the students when we're having classroom guidance. What do you plan to do after you graduate? Because what you plan to do after you graduate really does depend on what you're doing now. So we need to start from now. Okay, you can go to the next slide. Appropriate high school behavior. So number one, we want to make sure that we are just on our best behavior. We are perfect angels, right? We want to make sure that we are on time to class. There are usually 2 bells that ring, 1 bell for you to get out of class and move to your next class. And then there's another tardy bell where it's like, all right, you should be in your seat doing what you need to do in your class. Behaviors goes back to being in the classroom. One teacher might be okay with you having your phone, or one teacher might be okay with you talking or talking low while you're doing work. So just being mindful of the different behaviors that are expected in your particular classes. But overall in school, you want to make sure that you're on time. You want to make sure that you are prepared when you go to class or prepared when you come to school. So if you have your computer, make sure you have your charger. Make sure you have whatever supplies you might need. Some teachers might want you to have a paper and pencil or a calculator or whatever the case may be. So just make sure that you are prepared to learn with whatever supplies you need for class, especially with the computer. Please make sure you have your charger because that's how you do most of your work. And then you just always want to be on your best behavior. So that means if we're having, let's say, because disagreements happen, if we're having a disagreement with somebody, we want to make sure that we go to an admin and say, hey, I was having a text conversation with this person, and before it escalates to anything else, I want to make sure that I can nip this in the bud and make sure that nothing happens. So we just want to make sure that we are respectful to our peers. We also want to make sure we're respectful to adults, and just basically doing the right thing. And then once again, if you see something, you say something. So if you see someone getting bullied or you see something that's just inappropriate that you feel like it's inappropriate, then you make sure that you know where the administrative office is and the admins and the APs are, and let them know so that we could just make sure that school is just an overall safe environment for everyone that's in the building. Stress management. So high school can be very stressful because the expectation is like just high. We expect you to be the young adults that you're going to be. And as you get older, it's just kind of like, okay, you're being more independent, more independent. So it can be a lot of stress because once you get to 12th grade, it's like, okay, we expect you to know how to do this on your own. So as you go through, so it's going to be a lot of stress. So find ways to de-escalate your stress. Some students like to listen to music. Some students like to write poetry. Some students like to meditate. Whatever it is, find ways to de-escalate your stress at home and at school. So like, let's say we're at school and you're just you're feeling stressed, you're feeling anxious. It's like you have this test coming up, whatever the case may be. What can you do to calm yourself down so that you can get through your day? You know, does your teacher let you wear headphones so you can listen to music and just calm yourself down? Do you need to come to your counselor's office and just kind of sit and breathe for a little bit so that you can get through your day, right? So think about those different things that help you when you're at school and kind of get through the day, because sometimes life is just going to happen and we have to continue getting through the day. So I need to take a deep breath. I need to calm down. I need to drink some cold water, whatever that looks like for you. And then when you're at home, what are some things that will keep you as stress-free as possible so that you're able to complete your work, so that you're able to just live a regular life and not let high school consume you? So you also always want to make sure that you're getting good sleep. Everybody needs to get good sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, they say 8 hours, but I don't know who really gets 8 hours. Maybe there are some people that do. I don't know. But they say you should get at least 8 hours of sleep. So, you know, try to get as much sleep as possible to rest your body, to rest your mind. A healthy diet is very important. Exercise if you can. So if you can walk a little bit, just to kind of let go of all that stress, because life is going to happen and we just have to figure out how to deal with it as it's happening. Time management is a very big thing in high school. You want to make sure that you are managing your time because it can get overwhelming. You have 8 classes, all 8 classes might have assignments, and then you're just like, I don't know how I'm going to do all of this. So time management, where you might have a calendar, or you might have, I live by my calendar on my phone. If it's not on my calendar, it's not happening. So you have a calendar where you're just like, or you have a timer and you're just like, 30 minutes, I'm going to do this, an hour, I'm going to do this, so that you can kind of just manage everything that you have to do, because it can be very overwhelming. And then, of course, you always have your counselors to kind of talk you through these things, and we could just give you different ideas that might work for you, just so that you can feel like it's a smooth transition into high school, and then you'll have a great time in these 4 years here. That's all I have. And that is it for Miss Martin.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Dr. Ming. Dr. Ming? I know we were having some technical issues, and so I'm hoping we did not lose Dr. Ming throughout our technical issues, because she has so much to share with us on our amazing fine arts programs that we have here in the district. She was
Can
dropped.
you hear me now?
Yes, there you are. Awesome.
Okay, can you see me? Can you see me?
I can't, but
Let me try this different camera. I thought the whole time that I was on there, so
I see a
try.
background.
Oh, that's weird.
I see a background, but I can hear you. There you go,
Okay.
Dr. Ming. Awesome.
Okay. Well, let me just go on. Whether or not you can see me is really irrelevant. The main thing that I have to say is what you can hear, and that is that fine arts are such a great opportunity for your students to get involved in high school. All of our fine arts programs are opportunities for your students to become engaged with other students who are interested in the same avenues, whether it's music or art or dance or theater. There are a lot of opportunities. They differ from school to school, so you'll want to check with the counselors to see what is offered at each of those schools. But fine arts gives your students opportunities not only to be involved during high school, but opportunities to take into college with them. And a lot of scholarship opportunities come out of that. We have many, many, many students who have full ride college scholarships for music and art and theater. So if that's something that your student might be interested in, or if they just want to try out and see if they're interested in, I would highly encourage it. And I will say, I always say this, that those groups, those students who get in those classes become their own group, almost sort of a smaller portion of the larger school, and it really is helpful in making that transition. When my son went from middle school to high school, he was in the band and he joined the marching band. So he went to school several weeks, almost a month early, before they started actual ninth grade. And he was able to make friends with all of these other band members who were 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and they became really close. When he went to that first day of school, he was great because he had all of these upperclassmen friends that saw him in the hallway and greeted him, and we're really excited to see him. So fine arts is really like a family. If you have any specific questions or questions about fine arts at the different high schools, feel free to reach out to me, and the counselors. They can tell you what's offered at every school. And I just want to encourage you to get your students involved. I think there's room for everybody in the fine arts. And as a pathway completer, they also have the opportunity to earn the Fine Arts Diploma Seal, which goes on their diploma when they graduate. So there's lots of great opportunities out there for them. And thanks for letting me be here tonight.
Thank you so much. Dr. Rouse.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Keisha Rouse, Director of Athletics for the school district. For many of you who already participate in middle school athletic programs, it's not really going to be much different on what that expectation is. Piggybacking off what Ms. Martin said as far as eligibility, that is correct. You have to earn those credits, 5, 11, and for high school athletics, it's actually 17 and not the 16. So you have to be on course for that. In addition to that, you have to earn 2.5 units every semester that you want to participate. So that kind of goes in line with the 5 out of 7 that you're already doing in middle school. But if you don't meet that minimum earning 2.5 units every semester that you want to participate, you would be deemed academically ineligible. As far as how we go about tracking the athletic documentation that is required for participation, we do still use the Rank One platform. That is where you will electronically sign all of the consent, waiver, documentations, and upload your pre-participation physical examination that is required in addition to other documents, including insurance and your concussion, sudden cardiac arrest, but all of that documentation that is required to participate in athletics. Our athletic programs for admission are still cashless, so we still use the GoFan platform to purchase athletic tickets for all of our events. So encourage you to go to that platform for any athletic event that you want to attend. And again, piggybacking off what Ms. Martin said, just understand really what it means to be a student athlete. We use that term a lot, but you are a student first and athletics are second. And if you take care of business in the classroom, then to the point that Dr. Mee just said, you do open up the possibilities to those post-secondary athletic opportunities. Today marks two important days in athletics in itself. One is National Girls and Women's Sports Day, where we celebrate all of the young women who are participating in athletics and getting those opportunities to go to the next level and continue to participate in athletics and sporting activities, because we know just what we've seen over the course, that when they start to get in middle school and high schools, our females participation starts to decline. So we want to encourage them to participate in, whether it's our flag football, cheerleading, whatever the sport is. We want them to find them a place as well to be in that family, that athletic environment. And then the second date that was today was National Signing Day. So for in Rockdale County, we had both male and female athletes that were able to sign letters of intent today in order to participate at the collegiate level. So hopefully, out of the more than 15 athletic opportunities that we offer in the district, your child will be able to find where they fit and be able to find that sport that enlightens and enhances their academic experience in our high schools. Thank you.
Mr. Allen.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome, parents and rising ninth graders. When we think about lunch at high school, you have more lunch items, more variety, more choices. So we also think about, we have pizza, salads every day. We have deli, we have grilled, we have a variety of items. So at the high school level, you'll see more variety. You still will need your lunch number. Parents, you still can download My School Bucks for your kids can purchase a la carte items. We sell a la carte items every day. Also, you can view our menu monthly, which is online at RCPS. Also, too, next school year, all students will receive breakfast and lunch at no charge. So therefore, next school year, we will be in our second term of CEP, which is Community Eligibility Provision, which allows us to serve all of our students here in Rockdale County breakfast and lunch at no charge. Looking forward to having everybody, all the students come and get a nutritious breakfast and lunch. Thank you.
That's great news. Thank you, Mr. Allen. Thank you. We're going to turn our gears over to learning support with Ms. Thomas.
Good evening. If you have a rising ninth grader with the Individualized Education Program, IEP, please attend their transition meeting from 8th grade to high school. In that transition meeting, you will listen and be a part of the team to make sure that your student is getting the right support that they need in high school, from being in a co-teaching class with two teachers, with the general ed teacher and the special education teacher, or whether they need the small group setting or additional support for one of their classes. This will help us to make sure that we are assisting your student, providing that support and providing any guidance that you need to help support your student with a seamless transition to high school. Please let us know if you have any questions. Each student will also have a case manager once they enter the ninth grade, and that case manager should contact you, and that will be your first point of contact when you need to ask about the student's schedule. Make sure that your students are going to the right classes. Make sure if it's something going on that first week of school and your student was like, Mom, I have support in math, but I only have that one teacher. Make sure that you're reviewing that IEP to make sure that your student is in the right place. And if you need any help from learning support, please give us a call. Thank you.
Okay. Tanya, are you there? Should I just go?
You're good to go.
All
Counselors,
right,
just
cool beans. Hey everyone, I'm Mrs. Jackson, one of the counselors at Rockdale County High School. So glad to see you guys here. I was going through the list of people that's actually in attendance, and I noticed some names. So hi parents who all know me from when I was your students' ninth grade counselor. So I just want to welcome you guys again. This is an exciting new chapter in your journey, and we're so excited to have an opportunity to walk you through each step of the way. So let's talk about the most important thing of the night, graduation requirements. How do you get there? So for all high school students to earn their high school diploma and to walk across that stage, they need the following. So you need 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 4 years of science, 4 years of social studies, 3 units of CTAE, and those are like our career pathways or fine arts pathways. Included in those units are modern world languages. So we offer at Rockdale Spanish and French, and then each school has the actual language that they offer there as well. So for students who are wanting to go to a 4-year college university, they are required to take 2 years of foreign language. And then there's another requirement for 4 regular electives, and each school has a plethora of electives to choose from. And then every student has to take a half unit of health and PE. So that is a requirement. So what's really awesome about, well, let me just say, there for someone to graduate, a student to graduate from a state school, a Georgia state school, students will need to have earned 24 credit units. So don't forget that. 24 credits in order to graduate. But what's really awesome about Rockdale County Public School System is that we afford every student to graduate with 32 credits. So that puts them ahead of the game when it's time to actually start applying for colleges. So just keep that in mind. You only need 24 credits to graduate, but each student in Rockdale County graduates with 32 credits. So, sorry guys. Okay, so what would the schedule look like next year? Each student will take, well, our schedule is, each schedule for each school is broken up into an A day and a B day. So on Mondays and Wednesdays, students will attend 4 classes. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are a B day, and students will attend 4 classes as well. So each student has to take 8 classes in total, but each day, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, they attend 4 classes. Fridays, we rotate between the two. So some Fridays are A days, the other Fridays are B days. So the transition in between classes, and this is important because some students might go home and say, Mom, I don't have time to use the bathroom. What's really awesome is that they get 5 to 6 minutes in between classes to get to the next class. I didn't have that in high school, it was like 3. And we had to hurry up, do our business, and keep it moving. So remember that they have that 5 to 6 minutes in between each class. Lunches are offered during the, each student will go to lunch during 3rd block, and your high school will provide more information about the time they will actually go to lunch during that 3rd block. And also RVC courses are taken during class periods as well. And that's the Rockdale virtual classes that are online. Okay, cool beans. So this information here, understanding Carnegie units, this is for all of the students who are currently taking high school classes, okay? So if you're taking like algebra or physical science, environmental science, whatever it is that you're taking, right, the students are taking right now in 8th grade, this applies to you. So students must score a 70% or higher for both semesters in that course in order to receive and earn a Carnegie credit for that particular class. A student cannot just pass like the fall and fail the spring or vice versa and receive credit. They have to pass both semesters of the actual course. So if the student only met the requirement for one semester, as I just said, they can't get credit for it. If a student failed to score a 70 or higher on the first semester of the course, he or she will be moved into a regular middle school equivalent course for the semester. So if they are in algebra, they're registered for that particular class now, and they fail that course, they'll be placed back in the regular 8th grade math. And that's just for an example. So Carnegie units and credits, they don't count toward Hope Scholarship. So please keep that in mind when it's time to start applying to colleges, filling out the FAFSA application and all of that. Those particular credits do not apply to the Hope Scholarship. Okay, so this is really important too. So once everyone comes to high school, the grading systems are totally different. So in middle school, it seems like there's an average of all of the grades that the students earn at a certain point. And then that final grade that they receive is the average of all of those grades that they've earned within that specific time period. In high school, it's totally different. Students earn 16 grades per year. So in the fall, they will have 8 classes, as we just discussed, and they will have 8 grades that they earn. Those grades will then be transcribed to their transcript, and those grades are final. So keep that in mind. And the same thing for the spring. So those grades, each grade that they earn in the fall and each grade that they earn in the spring, those grades will then be transcribed to their transcript, and those are permanent grades. So those are the grades that the colleges will see if the students decide to go to trade school, or if they decide to, pursue a career in the military. Those are the grades that are on the transcript that everyone will see. So at the end of each semester, students will actually take exams. So in the fall, they'll have their final exams, and in the spring, they'll have their final exams as well. And remember, there is not an average, that we are not taking the average of fall and spring to come up with that final grade. The final grade happens in December, that whatever grades they earn, they will have that on their transcript in December. And then whatever grades they earn in the spring, they'll have that grade on their transcript in May of that particular year. So guys, this is an example of what a transcript looks like. You're probably like, oh my gosh, what is all this stuff here? So if you take a look at where the arrow is actually pointing, you'll see that each course is worth a half a credit. So you'll see right now, this student, I like to call students when I don't know their names, I call them Billy. So Billy is taking physical science. He's taken physical science already. So he's earned an 87 in part A and then an 89 in part B. So that means he earned 0.5 credits for physical science part A and 0.5 credits for physical science part B. So each semester, students will have an opportunity to earn a half a credit. They earn credits by passing each course. So if they do not pass the course, you will see a 0.0 in the column where it says credit, where that 0.5 is. 24 credits, as we said before, are needed to graduate in the area stated on the previous slide. But remember, each student in Rockdale County will graduate with 32 credit hours.
Okay. Hi again, everyone. I'm Miss Hightower. I'm one of the counselors at Salem High School. So real quick, I'm going to go through Hope Scholarship and Zell Miller Scholarship. So these are two very, very, very important scholarships that are only in Georgia. So for the Hope Scholarship, students must graduate with a minimum 3.0 grade point average. And that can be calculated by the Georgia Student Finance Commission. So students, it's encouraged for them to take rigorous courses to be eligible for these two scholarships. So the rigorous courses could be something in advanced placement or even in dual enrollment, which I'll get to in a couple more slides. So in order to maintain or to keep the Hope Scholarship, while you're in college, the students has to maintain at least a 3.0 GPA while they're in college. So Hope Scholarship, it covers approximately 9% of the previous year's tuition. And once again, the Hope Scholarship, well, the Hope GPA, it'll be recalculated and uses only academic courses. So it'll only use courses in math, language arts, science, social studies, and also 2 years of the same foreign language. All right, so then you have the Zell Miller Scholarship, and their GPA requirement is a minimum 3.7 GPA. So it's much different than the Hope Scholarship, which is just a minimum 3.0. Again, it's also recalculated by the Georgia Student Finance Commission. And you also have to have a 1200 SAT score or a 25 composite score on the ACT, which are both college entrance exams. So in order for students to keep the Zell Miller Scholarship, they have to maintain at least a 3.3 GPA while they're in college. And this scholarship provides a higher level of tuition assistance. So both are very, very good scholarships to have if anyone wants to attend a college or university in Georgia. All right, so these are a couple, 4 important communication tools that we all use. So one is Infinite Campus. So here you can find like the grades. You can find your not tuition, transcripts. You can also look at your student schedule on here. You can communicate with teachers. Also, there's a Remind app that you can download on your phone, which you can get text from your school about announcements or even from the district. There's also a Canvas app, which is where students receive their assignments from their teachers in their classes. And it's also an opportunity for parents to contact and message with their students' teachers as well. And then it's also email. We all have our own individual email, so you can shoot us an email at any time. But these are 4 very important communication tools, where you can stay abreast on any announcements from your school or even in the district or even from the teachers if you need to communicate with them. All right, so these are also a couple more communication sources. So you could get calls from your principals, from each individual schools, or even from the districts. There's also social media. You can look at the school page or even the Rockdale district page to keep abreast on announcements, or even a PTA meeting. So you can also receive information from those as well. So it's also very important that each school has the correct email and phone number on file. So if you need to make any updates with your student's school, then make sure that we all have those updates so we can put it on Infinite Campus, just in case we need to make any announcements or give any phone calls. Okay, so electives. So beginning on February 10th, the window for all of you all to select electives will open. So students will go into their class link page and then follow the instructions. So down there at the bottom, I don't know if you can see it says 9th grade electives. That's where the students will go and they can select their electives. So this should be completed by February 22nd. But also just keep in mind that Rockdale Magnet School, they'll discuss their electives at their Rising 9th grade nights. Okay, so let's talk about RCA and Rockdale Virtual Campus. So students, you may be wondering whether they can take a class at RCA or RVC. And the answer is yes, you can take a CTAE pathway and academic courses at RCA and Rockdale Virtual Campus. Just keep in mind that students, you must follow prerequisites and sequences as required by each individual school. So the course depends on availability and how it will work with your other courses. But the answer is yes, you can take classes at RCA or even at RBC. It just depends on availability. Okay, so by now, since it's February the 5th, all the 8th grade students and should have watched the video about dual enrollment, which is a program that enables students to earn both high school and college credit for free. So although dual enrollment is not recommended for 9th graders, it typically starts, we recommend it for 11th grade for you to start dual enrollment if that's something that you would be interested in. But it's just something that we all want you to be informed about, because the state of Georgia requires us to inform you all of the opportunities that's available. But this is a really, really great opportunity for students to take advantage of, which could also work into the Hope Scholarship that I was talking about earlier, and the Zell Miller Scholarship.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hightower.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about what's getting ready to come up. This is the most exciting time when you start to see your schedule, to see requests come in, to see things about your academic plan, which is the classes that you will be setting to motion for your high school career. So very shortly, we will be rolling all of our rising ninth graders from middle school to high school. And you will see it populate into Infinite Campus. And before long, you will be able to view your students' academic plan. So in the slide, we're showing you where you would go to view the plan, and this is the plan that the counselors at each school will work with your student, putting courses into the plan. These are the courses that will actually be used to build their schedules for next school year. So when you log into Infinite Campus, you can see this through your portal, or the students will be able to see it through their portal. They'll scroll down and click on where it says academic plan, and then click next. So during the month of March, there will be a window of opportunity for you to log in and look at the course requests that your students have been given. The dates are March the 7th through the 14th, and this is very important for you to take the time to look at the classes, because you will have an opportunity to do some feedback on the classes that have been loaded into the academic plan for your student. You want to make sure that your student has all of their academic classes, those 4 classes in the plan. They should have, remember, as was gone over earlier, 8 classes for first semester, 8 classes for second semester. So you should be looking at a total of 16 classes in their academic plan. The way that we get the recommendations is they actually come from some data points that we look at, but also we have teachers at your middle school that help with recommendations for students. And we use all of these points because our goal is to get your students started off on the right foot, into the right courses, moving on for their academic plan. We are going to have classes such as pre-AP. There may be some AP options at your schools. Just remember, every school does not offer the same classes. So you'll want to go onto the website, look for documentation that shows you classes that are available. Make sure you're listening to any messages that are coming out about reviewing or looking at plans, looking at courses. Just make sure you stay on top of it, because things move really quickly. As we know, it's February already. It's going to be May before we know it. Also, elective choices, those will happen very shortly. As Ms. Hightower just said, that window is going to open later in February. Make sure you log on. Make sure you get those elective choices. RCA, a lot of you already attended the RCA open house. RCA is also going to be adding that. So your plan is in the process of being built. Everything's not there yet. So just know counselors are working on it all the time, every day. Once you log into the academic plan, you'll see as what is shown on the screen. And it lists all 4 years. And there are some classes that will pre-populate into the plan because some of our courses are already sequential. Now, are these courses set in place? Well, absolutely not, because you have options and you choose different pathways to go in high school. But this plan is just something as a benchmark to get you started. So again, when you review, make sure you're seeing the plans for your classes for A semester, for B semester, you're seeing 16 classes. Also, that at the bottom of your plan, you have some alternate classes, because when we get ready to build your schedule, we need to have alternates so that we know what your interests are, because sometimes the class is not offered at a specific period that you need it. And we want to make sure that we have in mind what other classes you're interested in. All right, Ms. Cobb.
Okay. Parents, taking a deep breath. You just received a lot of information. I know it was information overload, and some of you had so many questions. Luckily, this information is being recorded, so you can go back and listen to it. We want to encourage you to visit the Rockdale County Public Schools website because there's additional information there. And it is just a great idea to go frequently to the Rockdale County Public Schools website, as information is frequently updated on our website for you. But as you go to the website, we want you to click on your child's high school, your child's future high school, and visit their high school webpage and just look through the high school webpage and just kind of see the information that is there. Also, we want you to read the district handbook. There's so much information in the parent handbook for the district. Just from, your child may have been here since pre-K, and we want you to just peruse it again. Just read the information, just, refresh yourself with that information. We can go on to the next slide. Just something we want you to know as parents. Every year, we take our middle school students, our 8th graders, on a field trip to their future high school site. So whether it is the school, their choice school that they were accepted into that program, or if it is their zone school, we will have a list. All the lists go to Ms. Bird, and she divides that list up by the schools. So all the middle schools will receive the list of where the students are going to high school. And the middle school counselors, they do provide buses, everything, and the students are able to visit their future high schools. And they spend several hours there, walking around the schools, learning about the school culture, the classes, and everything. So that trip is on March 26th. The students must have a signed field trip form in order to visit those schools. Okay? They must have a signed field trip form in order to visit the school. If they do not have a signed field trip form, they have to remain at their middle school. So if you are a magnet parent and you are on the call, here's some information you need to know. On February 27th at 6 p.m., there will be a virtual advisement night for the 8th grade students. So virtual advisement night for magnet students will take place at 6 p.m. You will receive additional information. And on May 30th, they will have summer adventure for their 8th graders. And then on July 15th is Jumpstart. So those are programs you do not want to miss. Coming up next, we have for our future Bulldogs. If you are going to Rockdale County High School on March 26th, you guys will have your Rising 9th grade night at 6:30 at Rockdale County High School. Additional information will be sent home regarding that night, your future Bulldog night. It will be at 6:30 on the 26th. For future pets, your night is March 26th at 6 o'clock at Heritage High School. And for our future Knowles, your night is March 26th at 6 o'clock and at Salem High School. So those are all of the nights for our for parents to actually go into the buildings and get acclimated to the schools. All right, we have one more slide, I think. We want to thank you for attending. If you would, please complete the evaluation. We're going to leave this slide up for a moment. If you would look at the web address to take the evaluation, or you can take look at the QR code and just take a screenshot or take your camera and put it up there to that QR code. We really would like to get your thoughts. It will take about 2 to 3 days before the recording will be up on the counseling website on the on our Rockdale County page.